Well, I'm back. I survived. The grand pause is now over. I have 10 days left, and then I will have taught a 180-day school year. What a trip. While I was gone, there was a barn swallow built a nest right over here, so I conceivably could be attacked. I don't know. Now, I need to say something about that trip. I'm not going to say very much. And I have to think, what is there to say? Well, first of all, don't try it. Don't do what I did. It was a wonderful trip for me. It was good. It was a success. It was exhausting. And it can be done. I mean, I wasn't sure when I left. I wasn't even sure if I could really do this, to travel that far, that fast. But it can be done, and I would say probably it could be done for less than $4,000, as I've said. But that was customized. That trip was made specifically for me because of friends I had in certain places. So if you followed my route, what I'd said before, I would not recommend that route to somebody else. That trip that I just took could have made 7 very satisfying separate vacations. Very satisfying. Each one a week, probably. Or it could have made 3 very extensive vacations at a sort of a relaxed, well, not too relaxed level. But that was too much to pack into one trip if you were going to do it for fun. I went to learn, and boy did I ever learn. I have about 3 or 4 hours of raw film footage taken with the same camera that I'm teaching into right now, and another one as well that Shirley loaned me. What I'm going to do with that, I'm just not quite sure, but I suspect that all summer I am going to be uploading parts of it and talking about it. I don't know. It's just raw film footage right now. And it was so much that I'm going to have to even look at that to be reminded of how much I did see. I did see the land and what people did. I saw many things that people built and many things that I would not even expected. So it was done. One of the things I said, I'm responding to my comments about what I hope to get from the trip. Well, the languages. Yes, that was, it was good. But one of the problems was, well, in Denmark, I didn't speak any Danish, so it didn't really matter. In Germany, when I was first there, I was so tired that I could hardly even speak English by that point. The trip over was rough enough that long enough and hard enough that I wondered, why am I doing this? But then by the time I had gotten to France, I was ready to try to speak a little German, but I was in France. By the time I got to Spain, I was beginning to speak some French. By the time I got to Portugal, I didn't know what was going to come out. French, German, Spanish, I'd opened my mouth and I wasn't sure which language was going to come out. Oh, and another thing, the Portuguese accent is different enough from Brazilian Portuguese that although they understood me just fine when I spoke without any problem, I had quite a problem understanding them, especially if the Portuguese would speak among themselves. Another time, I would prepare myself for that and train myself a little bit for the different sounds. And then, maybe for my experience with German, I'll save that here for the end. I made it to those shops. I had said it was a bit of a pilgrimage, and I did. In a way, it was kind of a close call. I could, by about an hour, I might have missed seeing those shops, but there was the book I got, the shops at there's the Institute. And I was able to revisit them, and they were just as wonderful as I remembered. And I have video of it. As I say, over the summer when this course is over, I'm going to be putting some of it, all of it, I don't know, I'm going to be putting it online, but it's just raw footage right now. When I got to Switzerland, I didn't go to Lauterbrunnen, or I did not see the Eiger up close, because by then I had been told by another friend that there was a museum called the Ballenberg Museum in Switzerland, and it was better than either of the other two. And again, I'll show you more about it. It's a historic village. I mean, you could look it up yourself if you wanted to, but it was just fabulous. There were so many things. Well, I think I could say that of the 19 or 18 days, there was not a single day that wasn't wonderful in its own way. There was not really a lost day at all. The closest would have been the train ride from Paris to France, across eastern France. That was, long parts of that were pretty boring. Well, all right. And then finally, when I got to, when I made it finally back to Hemmoor, Germany, near Hamburg, and in a sense I was almost rescued by my friends there. That happened more than once. I mean, just so tired and so spent. Well, when I got to their house, this was what was waiting for me on the door. Thomas, the same guy that you probably saw, or you might have seen by now playing the blues with me, has taken this course. I think he's watched every video, and he learned to diagram sentences. And there on the door, he had diagrammed a sentence, give you an idea of his sense of humor, that said, "Welcome to Frank Antonsen, a farmer and a retired teacher from USA who was traveling through Europe for several weeks and now has reached Hemmoor, North Germany." And he diagrammed that. Well, they made me most welcome, the Hawklings. And the one other thing I want to tell you now is my wish for total immersion in German. That happened. Thomas's English was good enough that he could have spoken English the whole time without any problem. But he knew that I wanted to be immersed in German, surrounded by people who spoke German. And so that happened. One of the things I had forgotten, though, was how hard that is to be. My German is not that good. And that's why I wanted to be immersed and to be sitting among people speaking when you only understand about a quarter of what's being said. Sometimes you're not even sure what the subject is. That is so exhausting. Now, when they would turn to me and speak to me slowly, I understood them, they understood me, so I can safely say I can speak German and I can understand German, but not smoothly. And that total immersion, if I had had a week of that, I think I probably would have been fine if I had survived it, because it is truly an exhausting experience. So if you hear about, oh, total immersion, that's the way to go, don't lose sight of the fact that it is extremely strenuous mentally. All right, I don't want to say too much about this trip because there's frankly too much to say. And as I have already suggested, it may take me half the summer to work with what I have there. I did learn so much. All right, I'm going to go on one more video today, and now I'm going to boldly try to teach you some German.